What is going on, Tekken community? Up here in this video, we're theorizing more about Akuma being in Tekken 7 and whether or not Tekken and Street Fighter share the same universe. There's a lot to talk about here, so get ready for a long video. Now with Akuma being in Tekken 7, it does link the Street Fighter universe in a way to the Tekken universe, but perhaps not in the clear-cut way that we might like to think. In an interview with Game Blog France that was Google translated from French into English, Michael Murray, game designer at the Tekken project, was asked the following: Street Fighter and Tekken, they share the same universe? Murray answered with the following, which I'll read in full. Akuma will be added to Tekken 7 via Tekken 7 Fated Retribution, which is a major update of the game. We already had left clues to his presence in the game, but nobody realized. In the trailer for Tekken 7, Kazumi is talking to a mysterious person on the doorstep. Everyone concluded that it was Heihachi, but it was Akuma. We would not go as far as saying that the Street Fighter universe is integrally connected to Tekken. Tekken has always been its own story and atmosphere. This unique part of the Mishima saga contains a window where Akuma plays a role. As a character, he fits very well in this environment. He does not look out of his element in Tekken, but to add to this part of the story makes it even better mixing. I don't know what the that last part means at all, but the context is clearly lost in translation. Murray continues, but I would not say that the two universes are linked. Just this part. What is important about this article is that the stuff that we can understand does hold some weight, but anything in the article can be misunderstood or taken out of context, meaning that the best thing we can do is to take what we do understand at face value. But that would be extremely boring. We like to theorize here on my channel, and we should not be afraid to be incorrect. So let's have some fun with some ideas from the community and take a look at all the possibilities. Ration Cardboard says, really Ration? It just got confirmed during an interview with Michael Murray that Street Fighter is not canon to Tekken, but Akuma is canon to Tekken. Keep up the great vids. I appreciate that, Ration. I'll remember that next time I'm near some cardboard. Now, my first reaction is that Murray did not give us any new information. I believe he was vague with his answer, almost as if to be answering a similar question that was really never asked. So vagueness is something that we can sense based on the quality of an answer, and how much of that answer directly corresponds with the question that was asked. The further away the answer gets from the specificity of a source question, the more vague and less reliable the answer becomes. So for example, it's like if I ask you, where have you been all day? And your answer to me is, I have been out. Well, of course you've been out, but where were you located while you were out? But see, I never got to ask you that second question because I already put up the answers on my French-speaking website, and now some guy that likes Tekken is making a video on it. So firstly, it's a little vague because he says, I would not say the two universes are linked. But what he does say is just this part. So if we were to make this statement a little less vague, what he appears to be saying is, I'm not answering the question you asked me, but I will tell you that Akuma is in Tekken 7. Yes, Michael Murray, we can see that. But is he freaking canon? Secondly, this is vague because it was translated. If something was already vague and then it was translated poorly, what can we even do with information like that, right? I'll remind you what we can do, Tekken community. We can theorize. Now, when we ask if Akuma is canon, I'm starting to realize in this community that a lot of us are asking completely different questions, starting fights in the comments. Some of you mean to ask, is Akuma a guest character or a full-blown member of the roster? Now here's the one I'm really asking when I ask if Akuma is canon. Now if anyone of significance who could properly answer this question is listening, please pay attention because this question is long-winded. With Akuma now in Tekken, is it possible for characters like Rashid, Sea Viper, Elena, Rose, Guile, and Ryu to walk up to Heihachi and say hello because in fact Street Fighter story and Tekken story take place on the same planet around the same time, but the events of each game just shows us what's happening as it pertains to that game? Seriously, I want to know if Leo can go sit at a table in a diner in Japan somewhere, and then Poison can walk into that same diner and they can eat pancakes and have the most awkward conversation about tucking things in properly. Huh? Can they do that, Michael Murray? Harada Yoshinori? To continue on McFadden's theory he sent in from the last video, there's a link between the characters Goken and Jinpachi Mishima. The obvious thing being that they're two rather large men of stature who are in their senior years and have a similar fight stance. There is the idea floating around that one of them learned fighting from the other, or they both learn from the same source. Also in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Jinpachi has a customization option where he's holding a large beaded necklace. If M. Bison is defeated with Akuma at the end of Street Fighter Alpha, the player is awarded an image of his master Gotetsu as well as Goken, who is wearing a very similar necklace. Now in Street Fighter 4, where Goken is playable, there's an absence of this necklace. Is that a clue that he gave it to Jinpachi? In all honesty, it could be any necklace, but I think it's a rather nice thing to point out. Junamitsu99 says, Akuma and Tekken were created in the same year. What if when Harada said that the figure was always meant to be Akuma, that he literally meant from the beginning? This is true, both Akuma and Tekken made their appearance in 1994, making it more likely that when they mention this on stage at the King of Iron Fist Tournament 2015, they probably were not making it up. Namco and Capcom both like their secrets and Easter eggs. For example, Akuma has been used as a secret before, as he can be found in the background of different episodes of Street Fighter 2V, but he never actually says or does anything. And don't even get me started on those freaking aliens and spaceships you get sometimes in Tekken, and what the hell are these chickens? And we also have a game called Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where the characters interact with one another and get into street fights for the sake of a storyline involving a mysterious box that falls in Antarctica. I was trying to figure out a long time ago if this game was canon. I took a high interest in this box and where it appeared. And if Tekken Cross Street Fighter is ever going to be a canon game, that would mean this game would have to be canon too. Maybe there's another box somewhere. Maybe it's going to be in Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Maybe there's already a box in Tekken. Hold on, I know that looks interesting. Let's get back to that in a minute. So first off, what the hell does this box do? Why is it so important? Well, by beating the game with any preset team in classic Tekken fashion, we're shown every single possibility, as all Tekken endings do this. If they are not a canon ending, they are an ending that happens if certain conditions are met. Yeah, kinda like the movies where really cool stuff happens, but it ain't canon, so it doesn't happen. Like for example, if Xiao Yu is to win the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3 by killing Ogre, somehow, she uses the money towards getting her own theme park, of which Heihachi is a dick about, and turns into Heihachi Land. Or for example, in Tekken 4, if Yoshimitsu wins the tournament, Heihachi is a dick again and doesn't give Yoshimitsu anything because he hates the Manjito. And to note, at the end of that scene, the Manjito steal the funds from the Zaibatsu's vault by stealing the freaking vault, which does in fact canonically happen, but not precisely in the way that it was shown here. You see, because Yoshimitsu's intention was always to steal from the Zaibatsu's vault. That was always going to happen. The only thing that was different is you as a player intervene and made him win the tournament, unlocking this scene. So now he gets to be on the other side of the room with Heihachi, while he gets to be a dick to Yoshimitsu and tell him that he's not giving him anything because screw the rules, I have money and I have guys with pistols. Which means that you've inevitably created a universe where Yoshimitsu gets shot at because you're a terrible person. And in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, this way of storytelling is exactly the same. Nothing of interest really happens to any individual. These endings are either kind of silly or just show how the box makes people fight over its contents. However, each set of characters gets something different out of the box. For example, if King and Marduk get the box, they see a projection of Armor King because in a way, they both want to see him because he died. And if Bob and Julia get the box, for Bob, it makes Julia to become more attracted to him for helping to acquire the box and refusing to be paid for the job. For Julia, she basically gets nothing out of it because all she wants to do is to study and to understand the box. The box gives the user exactly what it wants at that moment. Can I tell it that I want Tekken 7? But we have no idea which ending is the canon ending of the game. And the Street Fighter Cross Tekken Vita episodes only go so far. And after studying all these facts, I became intrigued with the idea of Pandora's box. And I remembered something from long ago that reminds me of an anomalous object falling into ice. I remember Dragunov's epilogue from Tekken 5. How didn't I notice it right away? A frozen land buried in dense subarctic forests. While undergoing geological research in preparation for the development of natural resources, an anomalous object is discovered below the permafrost. The mysterious object is then transferred under absolute secrecy to a research facility for further study. A frozen land, you say? You mean like Antarctica? Was this the canon ending to Street Fighter Cross Tekken I had been searching for? Well, no. It turns out that the subarctic region where trees and permafrost exist can only refer to this area just beneath the North Pole. I thought I had it there for a minute. The Russian forces are going as far as to sealing off entire areas just to get this mysterious object, which is something the Russians could not do outside of their own jurisdiction without declaring war. The only war to speak of that happens around this time is when Jin gains control of the Mishima Zaibatsu and threatens to dominate the entire world. And so with Pandora's box and this mysterious object being on total opposite poles of the planet at different times, I came to the conclusion that these objects were not the same at all. Although I do find it suspicious that they're located on opposite poles of the planet. The real question is, what the hell did the Russians find that they needed Double Jin for? Was it that thing opposite of Double Jin inside the tube with the two glowing red eyes? How does something classified as an object suddenly become a being with two glowing red eyes? Do you know what else has been depicted being involved with a mysterious object and has two glowing red eyes? Two answers. Akuma. Ogre. To conclude on whether or not I think Tekken and Street Fighter share the same universe, I looked up the law of polarity since I was talking about poles and I found this quote. I think it might give us some insight into the answer if we never hear about Leo's pancakes. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate all the support. And don't forget to use hashtag BuffCapos t-shirt. And remember that you cannot kill an idea. See you guys next time.